Welcome to Business Innovators Radio, featuring industry influencers and trendsetters sharing proven strategies to help you build a better life right now.
Hello and welcome to another episode of Business Innovators Radio. I am your host, Ralph Brogdon, and I am speaking today with Elena Rahrig. She is the CEO of Transform and Otter Publishing New York. Elena is the author of several books. She's developed several programs and academies. She is an international speaker and a consultant to over 50 entrepreneurs who are committed to transforming their business into an empire. So, Elena, welcome to Business Innovators Radio.
Well, thank you for having me. Super excited to be here with you today.
Well, super excited to have you because I want to find out more about what you do. But first, tell me how you got started in this line of work. What's your background and how did you get interested in it?
All right. Well, to make it as quick as possible on this topic, my dad began paying me to read books at the age of 12. And these books were on business, life, spirituality, anything from Napoleon Hill to Robert Kiyosaki to you name it, Joyce Myers, all of it. So he started that. Of course, being 12 years old, I hated it and thought Dad was a complete idiot. But before long, and I wanted the money is why I did it. But before long, it became a way of life. I was going to him saying, Dad, I need another book. And that's when I realized my mistake because that's when he quit paying me. But yeah, so my dad then, he had a really large company and he hired me again at the age of 12 to come in and assist his secretary. And I'll never forget the time he said, okay, Elena, answer the phone. And I thought, what? I don't even know how to talk on the phone hardly yet. So he really just dumped me right into the business world. And I say often, I didn't choose entrepreneurship. It chose me. It's how I was raised. My parents didn't care as much about my grades in high school as long as I was learning on the outside in the entrepreneurial world. But then my dad, he also traveled and was a speaker. And so we were raised going to conferences. So it's who I knew and who I talked to and what I saw. So it definitely has to do with my conditioning.
Well, that sounds very interesting that your dad actually paid you to read business and personal development books.
Yes, he did. And depending on the size of the book, it was either anywhere from $20 to $50, which back then was a lot more than what it is today. But he was very strategic in it. He handed me a pen and a highlighter and a book. And he said, you come back with highlights if you have anything you want to write in the margins, but I also had to keep a binder and take notes so that he knew, almost like a book report, so he knew that I was learning something.
Wow, that's really cool. And I would venture to guess that you do something very similar for the entrepreneurs and the business leaders that you work with. But tell me a little bit more about the type of entrepreneurs that you work with. Who are your clients and who do you help?
Well, my target audience is people who they call me because they want to be a coach or consultant, they want to be an author, or they want to be a public speaker. Now, I do have clients that don't want to do any of those things. They just want to know how to build residuals because when I talk about business versus empire, an empire is something that's going to give you the residual. So in a business, a lot of times we say small business, we're struggling, trying to work out of the house. And we really just bought ourselves a job. So building that empire lets us step out of that and say, hey, I'm going on vacation for 10 days. My business is still running back at home. Wow, I just got 10 grand deposited into my account today and I'm on vacation and didn't do anything. Yeah. So that is what I help people do. So I do have other clients that, they really don't want to do the whole book or speaking or coaching or consulting, but they do want to set up a business. They have an idea for a business, and it takes me talking to them, asking them the right questions. And a lot of times it takes me structuring the entire company for them so I can show them where they can take their passion or their product and turn it into a residual line of income.
That's really cool. And that's where the writing several books, developing several programs and academies, this is how you take information and create streams of passive income for yourself, and you show other people how to do that. Is that correct?
Absolutely. We are definitely in an information or knowledge-based era. And so if you can teach anybody anything, I mean, I see less people eager to go to college and more eager to say, hey, let me do, a coaching and consulting type atmosphere where you can teach me and I can have my own business. I mean, people pay thousands and thousands of dollars to get out of college to hope that they get a decent paying job and years of loans, to where with my company, it's a one-time fee that's more than reasonable. Actually, my competition and other people out there say I'm not charging enough, but I do like to keep it more reasonable. But it's a one-time fee and you're a member for life through Transform. So you're with us for life. And the reason I have so many academies is because when my clients say, man, I really need to know how to do this. Oh, well, I know how to do it. I just didn't create the lessons yet. I'll create the lessons and get that academy up. So we keep adding academies because my goal is to really make it so it's a one-stop shop for everybody and they get what they need so they truly get the empire they desire.
That's really cool. I like the concept because this is something I've talked about on many different occasions, the difference between owning a business and owning a job. And you're taking that to an even neater level, which is saying, hey, it's not about owning a business where you're in the business doing all the work. It's about owning an empire.
It is. And here's the thing is my acronym for the word time. Every entrepreneur, if you were to really ask, say, hey, why did you decide to be an entrepreneur? Now, for me, it chose me. But either way, I had a decision. I could have walked away, but I didn't. And trust me, there were times I wanted to walk away. But at the end of the day, we stick with it and we choose entrepreneurship because we want time. And that acronym is T, of course, is time. We want more time, freedom. I is impact. We want to have an impact on the world. M is money. We want enough money to live the life we want. And E, we want excitement. We want to wake up every day being excited about our life. So the biggest flaw that I see is everybody saying, oh, I'm going to be an entrepreneur. I'm going to quit my 9-to-5, get an LLC, get a logo, and call myself an entrepreneur. Well, what they find is they have less time, impact, money, and excitement because they're struggling and it's not fun. And then they're wondering why the heck they ever even decided to do it, but they don't want to quit. So they've created this just tornado of everything that they don't want. They're stuck in it. Just like people get stuck in a 9-to-5, they're stuck in a small business. So it's just about knowing the right people, getting the right education. And I tell people time and again, my academies, it's like a college degree. You're not going to get through 8 academies in a year. Okay. But if you want your empire, my gosh, I've been studying since I was 12. Mm-hmm. So I found a way to make it quicker and easier for people. But if you really want time, the acronym, then you got to do things a little different. You can't say that small business. What I say, a lot of people, they're a small band in a small town and they're never going to hit that big stage. You got to have the education to know how to do what we do.
So what would you say is the most common problem you see with helping people transition out of the job world, the career world, into the business world, and then to get out of that small business mindset and actually make the leap over into the empire mindset that you're talking about? What's the biggest obstacle that prevents people from achieving that on their own?
Well, it saddens me that I have to pick just one thing here, but I'm going to go for it. I actually just did a video on this too. It's a lot of people, we are taught to believe and enhance that belief system and make it strong. And what I teach is get rid of the belief system. That's a bunch of fluff and it's never going to work for you because you may wake up one day confident, the next day you're unsure of yourself, and you're just trying to control the belief system so much that you can't even stay focused on your big vision, your end goal. So it's not about believing, it's about knowing. It is your know system. So just to give you a cute little example, if I was to call you a big red apple, you would probably think I'm an idiot and you would laugh. And there's no part of you that would even toy with that thought of you being a big red apple because you know that that's not true. So why if I say, hey, you're an idiot, you can't build an empire, you'll never amount to anything, that shakes up your world. And those words will play over and over. And then you start to question, can I really do this? Am I smart enough? It's because you don't know where you really want to go and you don't know that you can do it. So it's really about making that no system. You have to know without a shadow of a doubt that you can build an empire, that you are good enough, and you just need to grow a little bit. It's a process.
Now, you said that that there's more than one big problem. What's another big problem besides shifting out of it? Because I'm going to come back to that. I'm going to ask you, how do you get out of that belief system, that limiting belief, and get into knowing? But what's the other problem that prevents people from making that transition?
The false belief system, the belief system really gets us in trouble. People believe, the human nature naturally wants to see what it wants to see, hear what it wants to hear, and believe what it wants to believe, whether it's reality or not. We create stories in our head, and by gosh, that's what we believe. So people will see somebody like me and say, man, how'd you do that so easily and so quick? What they don't see is the 20 years of hard work to get here. And so when people see success, they think, oh, I'm going to be an entrepreneur and it's quick and easy. It's that quick and easy mentality. And everything's fast food, fast internet. I mean, people have broken their computers because internet wasn't fast enough, So that, it boils down to laziness. People who want everything for nothing. And I compare it to a doctor who goes to school for years and years, walks out with $800,000 in debt, and an average pediatrician earns a little over $200,000 a year. But people think that they can build an empire and not invest time, money, determination, dedication. They think it's going to be quick and easy and very inexpensive. So you got to get rid of that quick and easy. You have to know that, hey, it's time to roll your sleeves up, invest everything you've got, and you will have your empire, and you can do it in 5 to 10 years. Easier. You know what I mean? Like a lot easier than a doctor, but it's not quick and easy. So I don't want that to sound contradictory, but to really just know that you're going to have to work for it. You're going to have days where you want to quit, where you might cry, where you might have a meltdown. That's okay. That's all part of building the empire. So that's a huge problem I see is, I'm going to take a few academies and be an overnight success. No, you actually have to apply what you're learning and it's repeat, and you're going to get to where you want to get to.
What is something that someone could do right now? And I love asking this question because it really takes things, it makes them practical. How can we get someone right now to get out of that self-defeating belief system of always wanting the quick and easy way out? I mean, is that something that you can even overcome, or do you just have to kind of be born with grit? What do you think?
Anything that has been conditioned can be unconditioned, and every single one of us have been conditioned by the way we were raised, by our environment, by everything. So whatever you don't like about the way you think or what you believe, then you can change that. So for an example, a quick one is I was raised that tattoos are trashy and nobody should ever have a tattoo. And I carried that belief system, and it was a no. I knew that about tattoos, by God. And then as I got older, I'm thinking, where did that even come from? I didn't decide that. So that's what I mean. Things can be unconditioned. I don't know that tattoos are trashy, or that I don't believe that at all. I actually like them. But I had to stop and say, wait a minute, I was conditioned a certain way. And so I just act that way, even though that's really not who I am, if I pay attention to who I am and who I want to be. So it's about determining who you want to be. But getting past that quick and easy mindset is just, you have to know. You have to know who you are, what you truly want. And I am a Christian woman, so I'm going to go here if that's okay with you. But God says, my people perish for lack of vision. So that's where it starts. People cannot even envision tomorrow. If they're envisioning tomorrow, they're envisioning sorrow and defeat. But you have to be able to look 10 years from now and say, this is where I'm going to be. Okay, you have to be able to picture every detail. If you want to be a public speaker, speaking to 10,000 people, making $10,000 an hour, you better be able to picture yourself in that conference center, know exactly what you're wearing from head to toe, what you're saying, you have to be able to envision it. And so that's the number one step, is to just drown out all the noise the world has to offer you and really get to the heart of yourself and say, where can I be? If money was of no concern, if time was of no concern, and there's no problem, no obstacle standing in my way, what would I be doing? And when you can envision that and you hold on to that vision and you know that you're going to get there, then you're willing to do whatever it takes to get there, morally and ethically. So in other words, if I sign up for academies and then I realize, like, wow, these academies are a lot harder than what I thought, well, I've already committed because I know that I'm going to be on that stage, which means I'm going to roll my sleeves up and do what it takes.
I'm speaking with Elena Rahrig. She's the CEO of Transform. She's an author of several books and programs and academies that help entrepreneurs become empires owners instead of just business owners. I really like that concept. Can you help us and help our listeners to understand what would be the advantage? Because on the one hand, there is no quick and easy solution. But on the other hand, working with someone like you can probably greatly improve the chances of success as opposed to just figuring it out on our own. So what are some of those advantages of working with you and with your programs?
You avoid a ton of mistakes and failures. Like I said, my dad started me at 12. I'm 34, so 22 years in the business world. Definitely a lot of mistakes, a lot of failures. If I would have known now what I've known then, and I know all old people say that, but if I knew then what I know now, I would have been successful a lot sooner. So that's why it can come quicker and it can come easier. It's not quick and easy, but it is quicker and easier than if you're doing it on your own. And so that is a huge advantage. Also, what my clients tell me that they really, really love about me is when they get stuck, they can't, and this happens to everybody, is sometimes we have all these unorganized thoughts and we know what we want, but the answer is so plain and simple, yet we can't see it. We're blinded to it. So probably every one of my clients, I have spent at least an hour in the beginning on the phone with them, and I know exactly what questions to ask you. And then I can see all the answers, even though they can't see it. And then that's why I'm able to, then we hang up the phone. I spend the next hour and I build their entire company on a piece of paper. And then we have another call and we go over their entire company. And they're like, oh my gosh, that's amazing. I love it. How did you do that? Well, because I can see in you what you can't see within yourself. You know, I just need you to answer a few questions for me. I need to know the heart and soul of who you are, your vision, and there's just more questions that I ask, and I can pull an empire out of anybody. So that's a huge advantage right there. That
is really cool. And that's a tremendous advantage to have someone that can look at you, see the things that you don't see, and help you get to where you want to be. As you said, nothing is quick and easy, but it can be quicker and it can be easier to work with someone like you to help them get around those obstacles and basically design the life and business that they want, which is really cool. Kind of like the television show where the designer meets with the couple and gets their tastes, their parameters, their vision or whatever. And then they go away and they come back and here's this grand design that they unveil. You're kind of doing that for businesses and building empires for people.
Yes, absolutely. And even some are like, I don't know how I'm going to make any money with this. That's included in the package. I'm going to show you exactly where those dollar signs are. You know, I have a client who's like, I want to teach people about healing. Okay, let me ask you some questions. But within an hour, a program that she had, that's the other thing. I don't just help them with the structure of their empire and where those dollar signs are of how they can make money off of it. But also when they develop their own programs and academies, which when they're really good that my clients need, we have one that we actually lease So now my clients get to make money off of the company. So there's just so many advantages. But even with the programs, I've had consultations to design their empire, but then they're like, okay, so I want to teach people this. So again, there's more questions that I ask, and we spend another 45 minutes or so on the phone. And within an hour later, I send them an entire outline to a program to where all they have to do is fill in their message around the outline. So it's really, I guess it's a gift of mine. I can see things like that. But I'll tell you also, there are times I need somebody to do that for me, because that's human. That's human nature. A lot of times we can't see what's within ourselves, but somebody else can. So I too have had to have somebody help me. So
yeah, I like that. And a good analogy that I've used that's been helpful for me is I can give myself a haircut, okay? But I'm probably not going to be happy with the result, and it's not going to look that great because there's so much I can't see about myself. So I should probably outsource that to someone else who can look at me objectively and give me the haircut that I want.
That's a perfect analogy. Very, very good.
Now
I love it.
You told me off air that you had recently done some international speaking that you were excited about. Do you want to share that with our listeners?
Yes, actually, it's coming up. We are headed to Cabo. It's called, oh gosh, I hope I get the word in the right order, but Habitudes and Attitudes. Or it's Attitudes and Habitudes. I'm sorry, I haven't looked at the flyer a little bit, but I did. I just got hired to speak at that event. It's all-inclusive trip to Cabo. So super excited. It's definitely for entrepreneurs. The tickets are around, and the tickets are also all-inclusive, and it's around, I think, $1,700 to attend. But it's going to be a great event. I think there's around 10 different speakers, really successful empire creators. And so they may not know they're empire creators until I give my speech, but they are.
And for those of us who are not that world traveled, Cabo is in the Yucatan Peninsula, or is that Baja California?
I know it's in Mexico.
Mexico.
Right?
Okay.
Yeah, I'm not. I build empires, not roads.
All you know is you're going to get on a plane and you're going to end up someplace.
I am going to Google Map that stuff. So yeah, that's the quick and easy part of building empires.
Well, that's cool. What else are you working on right now that's got you really excited?
Well, I'm actually in the middle of building 3 more academies, and I'm going to tell you one of them today because it's super exciting. Like I said at the beginning of this call, is everything I create is going, oh, my clients need this. Let me create it for them. Well, when I built my membership website, in other words, people can go to my website, they can sign up to be a member, and everything runs on autopilot. So that means if I'm on vacation somewhere, somebody can get on and log in. Well, when I built all of that, I thought, what a nightmare. I spent over $5,000. I spent over 4 months working with this developer team. Like, I hated my life for 4 months in the aspect of this website. And so I'm thinking, oh my goodness, my members need a membership website. So how can I save them from this craziness? Well, I did a lot of research, and I've built websites before, never a membership website though. So I did my research, and I found a way to clone my website for my members. Once we clone it, everything is set up, all the structure. There's just, all they have to do is copy and paste their content in exchange for mine. But it costs them nothing except whatever the host yearly hosting fee is. But they get a free membership website, and we also do it with my public speaking website. So they get a public speaking website, which they don't have to use it for that. They can change it out, whatever wording they want on it. But then we also do it for the membership website. So it saves them thousands of dollars. So I'm really, really excited about that.
That sounds,
and so are they.
Yeah, I mean, that does sound exciting to save all that time and effort. And I think that holds a lot of people back. They're not necessarily technically oriented, and they let technology kind of get in the way of building their empire because they think, oh, it's too much technical stuff. I'm not great on computers or whatever. And I was surprised to find out just how many people struggle in that area, but it sounds like you've figured out a way to eliminate that obstacle for them.
It is. And above that even is every time you turn around, there's an expense. As a business owner, empire owner, there's always an expense. And so if I can save you $5,000 on hiring a website done for you, then that's worth your entire fee for becoming a member. So it really, and I have videos. So I did 3 of them for my clients, 3 different clients. I did those already. But what I did is I recorded the screen of me doing everything. So now people can just get in there and do it themselves because they have the video tutorials walking them through step by step how I clone it, how we replace content, everything. So it's really working out very nicely.
That sounds really good. And I know that there's going to be people who hear this and say, this sounds like something I should really check out because they're stuck and they need the help and the wisdom that you've gained to be able to get to where they want to be. How can our listeners get in touch with you to find out more about your products and services and programs?
Awesome. Well, as you said in the beginning of this, I do own a New York publishing company. So you can either go through Otter Publishing New York, where we do all the work for you. We publish your books, academies, programs, all of it, and we do everything it takes in the publishing world. But what I try to get people to do is come over to Transform, because that is where we teach you how to do everything the publishing company does. So I'm definitely in competition with myself, with my 2 companies, but Transform is the heart, and that's the one that I know you're going to have an empire with. And so that's the one I try to steer people towards. Now, you do have people who say, hey, I don't want to learn it. I don't want to know. Just publish my book. Fantastic. We're going to keep you with the New York Publishing Company. So I'm going to give you the information for Transform, and everything's connected. My schedule page is on there, so they can be able to schedule time to talk with me, and then they can decide which company is the right fit for them. But Transform, my website is ElenaRahrigTransform.com. So my email is Elena@ElenaRahrigTransform.com. My phone number is 910-688-3769. And again, though, if you just go to ElenaRahrigTransform.com, click on the schedule tab, and my entire calendar is there. You pick a time that works best for you, and it syncs to my calendar, and I know I have an appointment with you, and it's free. So
that's awesome. And just we'll have this on the website, but could you spell the name, your name there, just to make sure anyone who's listening and they don't have access necessarily to the website, they can still look you up?
Absolutely. It's ElenaRahigTransf as in Frank, ORM as in Mary.com.
Wonderful. It's really been interesting and informative and educational to listen to your passion for what you do and the excitement that you bring to entrepreneurship. Do you have any final thoughts or words of wisdom that you'd like to share with us before we close?
Well, my biggest encouragement to people is to think bigger than a business. Think of an empire. Think of residuals. Think of what it is you truly desire that you want, why you chose entrepreneurship, or it chose you and you stayed. There's a reason. And that reason is not to be stressed out and frustrated and wondering if it's ever going to happen for you. You have to know without a shadow of a doubt that it's going to happen. You just need a little bit more knowledge and some assistance and build that empire.
Awesome. Words of wisdom from Elena Rahrig. She's the CEO of Transform and Otter Publishing New York. Thank you so much, Elena, for being on the program today. I really appreciate it.
Well, thank you for having me. It's been such a pleasure, and you're super fun to talk to. So thanks again.
Thanks for listening to Business Innovators Radio. To hear all episodes featuring leading industry influencers and trendsetters, visit us online at businessinnovatorsradio.com today.